Hi guys and welcome. Today I'm in Munich, Germany, and this is where the International Auto Show for 2021 is being held. This is the first year they are holding it here in Munich. Up until now, every 2 years it was held at the Messe in Frankfurt. From now on it's going to be only here in Munich. Today we will go and visit both locations. I will take you on a tour of everything that is going on here, all the new cars for the next year, the concepts that are out, and the new electric lineup that new manufacturers and current manufacturers are coming up with for the next coming years. So without any more talking, let's get to the video and see what we find there. This first hall is where manufacturers come to show their new bikes, their new bike collection. Here we have the Husqvarna Enduro bike. City bike, also electric, probably 650 battery. Flyer has the new full suspension. Also from Flyer we see the new electric tandem bike with a lot of range, and their new full suspension enduro bike, equipped with Fox racing shocks and Shimano gears and the brakes. Here from Flyer we have the new downhill machine equipped with the new Boxer black box technology. Canyon also brought their latest road bike, very aerodynamic and lightweight. Here we have an example how the parts are built into the bike. The frame is made from transparent polycarbonate, so you can see all the workings of the bike. You can see the engine, the shock, the battery. And here you have Conway with their new enduro bike, also electric, with the new Porsche engine. And now we start with the car. First we have outside of the main hall the Genesis G70. For 2022 is equipped with a new 2.5 liter inline 4-cylinder engine which develops 290 horsepower. It will first debut in the USA and will have a price of $37,000. It's a nice interior and really nice blacked out wheels. Here we move into the next big hall. Here is where all the fun happens. First stand is from the guys Tuning Not Racing, which are a tuning group who stand against illegal racing. They promote tuning and everything that's nice about having your car personalized. They came here to show two of their cars. One of them is this old Ford Escort, which looks stunning, being restored completely and made for racing. Everything looks clean on it. The rims look really cool. The engine is restored as well, completely. The next one is this Nissan 350Z with a rocket bunny white body kit, which is really rare, especially here in Europe. The wheels are over 275 wide. A lot of effort and passion was put into building this car. Next we move to the Manhart stand, where we have the Manhart MH5 F90. This beast develops 815 horsepower and 1030 Nm of torque. All this power is put through the X-Drive 4-wheel drive system, and if you want to, just by pushing a button, only through the rear wheels. Next we have a collection from Alpine Rush of some really nice cars, which are this Porsche 911, this Audi RS6, the Mercedes AMG GT, and the Audi R8. Moving on, we have here the MTM stand, which has two cars here. First of which is this Audi RS6 MTM Stage 4. It has 1001 horsepower and 1250 Nm of torque. It does 0 to 100 in 2.8 seconds. Here we have an MTM rim, which looks really cool. And here is the MTM Porsche 911 992. Here we have some really nice Mercedes, DSLs, the old SLs, which look amazing. They look like they're brand new. And of course the first Mercedes Gullwing, which started the revolution of Gullwing doors. Next we have this Mustang GT with a really nice wide body kit from Elegance Wheels. They've built this blacked out Mustang in this spec, which looks really amazing. Here we have the Corvette C8 in bright orange and another one in red. And next we move on to Lamborghini Yalpa, which is a cheaper version of the Lamborghini Countach. Has a V8 engine of 3.5 liters, which develops 250 horsepower and 305 Nm of torque. It was built in the 80s next to the Countach, making it the cheaper version of the Countach, a more affordable. Next we have the Porsche 914, and next to it the 911 Turbo 930 edition from the 80s, 1994. The looks of this 911 are simply timeless. The rear end with the whale tail is definitive of Porsche in that age. Here we have the Ford Capri racing version, which is the 2600 RS, also a successful car from the 1980s, especially in the rally series. And moving on back to the Goldwing, another red Mercedes Goldwing with beige interior, restored to its former glory. And behind it we have the cool Mercedes SLR McLaren, which developed 772 horsepower. This is the first car ever built with side-mounted exhaust behind the front wheels. Next to it we have the SLR Sterling Moss edition, which appeared in 2009. This car was designed by a Korean designer named Yoon Yi-hoon, if I spelled correctly. He was inspired by the 300 SLRs. Only 75 cars were built. The engine is a 5.4-liter AMG V8 engine, which develops 660 horsepower. Here we have the normal Mercedes SL. And quite next to it, we have the SLR McLaren Roadster. And in front of it, the old 300 SL with a beige interior. Moving on, here we have the Mansory stand. These guys came with a lot of expensive cars and with best of their best. Here we have the Mansory Rolls-Royce Cullinan black badge. This one has a 6.75-liter BMW V12 engine, developing 600 horsepower with 900 Nm of torque. Black badge stands, as you can see, for blacked out. Everything is black, not a bit of chrome on it. The white body kit makes it look even more aggressive. Behind it, we have the Mansory Mercedes SLS AMG, called Cormio. This has a full carbon fiber body. The engine develops 731 horsepower, and as you can see, very much attention to detail by Mansory. The rims, the interior, everything looks. Behind that we have the Mansory Ferrari F8 Tributo. Mansory have modified it with a lot of carbon fiber parts, and the engine is 880 horsepower, developing 960 Nm of torque. A bit of an upgrade from it. It has Mansory's bronze painted rim setup. In front of the Ferrari we have the Lamborghini Urus Veneto edition. 838 horsepower and 850 Nm of torque. It's also equipped with a wide body like the Cullinan and with yellow striping all over the car. The Urus is aggressive in standard version. Mansory just made it look even meaner. Here we have the Ferrari stand with some older Ferraris and of course the new Ferrari Roma, which is basically the baby Ferrari, the most affordable Ferrari you can buy. Sticking on to Ferraris, we move to the legendary Ferrari F40, which I think is the coolest Ferrari ever built. This car looks so timeless in any year, and it's probably my favorite Ferrari ever made. It was nice to actually be next to one. Because it's really rare, and I'm really glad I had the opportunity to come and see it. In front of it we have the McLaren Senna GTR edition. This is a fully track-focused supercar. It develops 825 horsepower and 800 Nm of torque. It has a power-to-weight ratio of 694 horsepower per ton, and the big wing behind it and the aero in front creates 1000 kilograms of downforce. Here we have the Mercedes AMG GT Roadster in a really nice blue color. Moving on to some rare classics, here we have the Lamborghini Espada, which is a 4-seater GT car built by Lamborghini between 1968 and 1978. Only 1,217 cars were made, and it had a 3.9-liter V12 engine developing 325 horsepower. Sticking on to classics, in front of the Lamborghini we have the De Tomaso Pantera, which was built between 1971 and 1992. Quite a lot of years. It had a 4.9 and a 5.8 liter V8 engine, developing 330 horsepower. This was also a rare car to find. very few are made. Here we still have some classics, including a classic Ferrari. As you can see, all Ferraris never look bad, doesn't matter how many years pass. Moving on to BMW and the G-Power stand, where here we have the BMW GM8 Hurricane RR. This car develops 900 horsepower and 1050 Nm of torque. G-Power not only modifies the engines, also the transmission, the interior, rims, anything you want, they probably do. Really nice car. Next to it you have the same engines, same power development, only in an M5. This is a Hurricane RR GM5 with the same power output as the GM8. So it's a perfect car for commuting on the Autobahn in Germany. Next we have the Zenvo TSR-R, which is a hypercar made in Denmark. It develops 1194 horsepower and 1139 Nm of torque. The engine is a 5.8-liter V8 dual compressor. It develops only 1495 kilograms, so power to weight ratio is very good. The design also looks amazing, especially with the reversed wing. Behind that, we have a full carbon supercar called Hispano Suiza. It's an electric hypercar with two motors developing 1020 horsepower. The car is built by a Spanish and Swiss company. It looks very nice and we hope to see it on the track as soon as possible. Moving on to brute force and comfort, we have the Brabus S900 Rocket with a V12 engine developing 900 horsepower and 1200 Nm of torque. This is a big limousine to be driven in very fast and very comfortably. Next to it, Brabus also brought their G-Wagon, the G900 Rocket, with the same powertrain but only in a much non-aerodynamic vehicle. This brick can outperform a lot of sports cars, considering its huge weight. Here we have another cool looking Audi R8 V10 Plus with a very interesting paint job. Next to it, the Mercedes AMG 190, the Mercedes AMG DTM, which was a really nice car that performed in the DTM series Deutsche Touring in Germany. Here we have the Brabus company, which just produced city car for city commuting and city traffic. Fully electric is their vision of the future in a car. It's made very spacious inside and minimalistic, but efficient in the city. Here we have the Schaeffler company, if I pronounce correctly. They produce electric platforms. This platform you see here is for their DTM car, which you will see in a moment. Here we have all the electric components. This is Schaeffler's DTM car, fully carbon body and fully electric drive system. It develops 1200 horsepower. It looks very promising. I can't wait to see it on the DTM circuit, maybe next year or in 2 years maybe. Moving from fully electric to hybrid electric. This is the Mercedes AMG 1. It's a hybrid car with a Formula 1 engine and a lot of electric motors, which was used in the Formula 1 racing series. It has an electric turbocharger and 2 electric motors. The combustion engine produces 784 horsepower, the electric turbocharger produces 121 horsepower, the electric motor on the rear axle produces 160 horsepower, and the 2 electric motors on the front axle produce 322 horsepower. The combined output is 1231 horsepower. This car is built in a very limited edition and the price is going to be $2.72 million. So not very affordable for all of us. Here we have another prototype from GBO, the Sekisui V3.1. GBO is a Dutch company which came out with their first EV car here at the IAA. It looks very promising with a nice design. We don't know much about the engine and the power output, but I'm sure the details will come as soon as possible. Here we have the Volkswagen T1 minibus, which was converted to fully electric, and it's called the Ambience. Really nice conversion and makes the bus look very modern. Moving on to Hyundai, here we have the Ioniq 5, but not any Ioniq 5, this one is called the Robotaxi, which is supposed to be a fully autonomous vehicle. The Robotaxi has autonomous level 4 driving. The car has more than 30 sensors all around and is designed for commuting and is designed for traveling in town and is designed to be a perfect car in town for taxi, commuting of all sorts. Next to it we have the Hyundai Ioniq 6, which has a 72 kilowatt capacity and 300 miles of range. Not bad for a mid-size sport car. Here we have the BMW 1602, but not any 1602. This one has an electric conversion. In 2021, everything being about electric, the only difference is this electric conversion was done back in 1972, and it was presented at the Olympic Games in Munich in the same year. It has an electric motor front-wheel drive, which develops 43 horsepower. The battery is at 12.6 kWh. This was one of BMW's first attempts of an electric car. Next we have the new BMW iX, which has two electric motors, which comes in two trim levels, xDrive 40 and xDrive 50. The xDrive 40 has 76 kWh with 326 horsepower, and the xDrive 50 has 111 kWh with 523 horsepower. The maximum range is 630 kilometers. Here we have the iX in an exploded view, where you can see the battery pack in the floor, suspension components and electric systems of the car. Remaining in the BMW stand, here we have the BMW i4, which comes in two trims, the e-drive 40, which develops 335 horsepower with just a rear motor, and the M50, which the rear motor has 308 horsepower and the front motor has 255 horsepower. this giving a total output of 563 horsepower. Also here at BMW stand we have the new 7 Series, which doesn't look very far from the previous one, just a minor updates interior and exterior, but still remains a very big comfortable limousine. Continuing with electric drive, we move on to Polestar. Polestar brought here the new Precept concept. It has a dual motor drive which developed 400 horsepower and 400 miles of range. Polestar also brought their Polestar 1, which was their first attempt, very successful one as I might add. It has a hybrid system consisting of an inline 4-cylinder engine and an electric motor. And here, surrounded by glass, we have a car which is actually a game simulator, Ford S1 E3, a simulator developed together with gamers, and it's based on the P1 concept. We can't forget about Cupra, which came with their sport hatchback Cupra R, the rear big wing with the LED stripe on it and the huge rear diffuser make it a very aggressive hatchback. And not to forget, BMW again. They came up with their newest concept, the BMW Circular, which is a car produced only of recycled materials, and it's made to probably replace the BMW i3. It's built only from 12 panels, which make it very easy to be recycled and reused. Here we get to the end of the video. I hope you liked everything you saw here, all the new cars, all the new concepts. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell and give a like so I can bring you more nice content, car shows and car meet, and especially really nice cars and their stories. See you in the next video.